Okay, yeah, hello there. I think you can hear me. Just make sure I can hear Johnny. Um, Johnny, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Mm, Wait just a second. I think Johnny's mute.
Check test.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see on the stream. Yeah, on the stream. Yeah, you're also good. Yeah,
I don't see a stream.
you refresh. Everyone is here.
Ah,
15, 17 count.
got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm kind
so
of. Um, yeah. So just
uh,
finishing up on a.
I was listening. Oh,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Thanks.
It was um, yeah. I'll talk about Interstellar. I watched recently. Yeah,
Oh, did you?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I at least had Matt Damon on it, so yeah, it was
Matt
worth.
Damon.
Yeah, any movie with Matt Damon is worth.
What?
Yeah.
They want your audio up if you can up it.
Okay.
Increase your volume if you can. Any movie with Matt Damon, I'm the exact opposite. And I've said before,
Maybe
I'm.
I'm being a little sarcastic, maybe.
Oh, okay, all right. Listen, anybody.
Uh-huh.
It's that is really a matter of taste, but yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. He's also a child. Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon,
Mhm.
Ellen Page.
I,
Um,
mhm. And also, I think they use Matt Damon a lot for the space. He was the on the Martian, I think, right? He was
yep,
yeah, the guy in Mars trying to survive.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't they jam? Yeah, so Doc is not hosting any particular images right now, so he's just got his Assassin's Creed background. So
Mm-hmm.
just to let Carl know. Um, yeah, and didn't they? Who was that? Revenant? Wasn't it Leonardo
Oh,
DiCaprio that
yeah.
was the redoing of nature tough guy living out fighting a bear? Come on, really?
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
it really wasn't believable with Robert Redford in it, that pretty boy Robert Redford, but it's definitely not believable with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see in the screen why he got
Ah,
the Oscar.
what didn't he? Yes, yes. Shortly after meeting the Pope, he got his Oscar, right?
Right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also a child actor. So who knows what happened to him and what he volunteered for on his way up.
Does he? I think his father. If you see his father on the video, I think he's Roman Catholic, right? If I
Oh,
maybe
I
I'm
wouldn't doubt
confusing.
it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't doubt it. Gave him his special global warming book there.
Yeah. Global warming. Right. Um. Yeah, but I think I saw. Yeah, he was Roman Catholic.
Carl says he couldn't even stomach the trailer. Nana says she prefers Sam Elliott over Leonardo DiCaprio.
Sam Elliott.
Oh, yeah, I did it.
Right. More charming. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Uh,
What? Bend over the Pope. Oh, bend over for the Pope. Oh,
uh,
okay. David said something. I was like, oh, well, what's going on there? Probably not far from the truth either.
right. Yeah. I'm trying to see if
Yeah.
see. Uh, oh yeah, yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio is a practicing Catholic.
Oh yeah.
He was raised
Yeah.
Catholic by his father, George DiCaprio. Yeah, um,
Do I have anything else on DiCaprio?
George Paul DiCaprio.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. Good.
Oh,
Shocker. You know what? I don't have a full dossier on him. I'm gonna have to add him. It was just so obvious I didn't even bother. It was just so obvious I
sometimes
didn't even bother.
it's not like Bruce Lee, right?
No, Bruce Lee was hidden. Oh my goodness, was he hidden? And we nailed that. We
Yeah,
hit that out of the park.
right.
Out of the park.
Yeah.
What other? So, oh, let's you added
Um,
something on Creed's writer Ryan Black Power Coogler.
Ryan Coogler. Let me. If you.
Was this not you that found that Ryan Coogler did a pull the Noam Chomsky?
Yeah, I pull up here the article. 15 things you didn't know about Ryan Coogler. Yeah, so.
He pulled a Garden Noam Chomsky and spent some time down and out with the
Yeah.
Jesuits.
So he arrived in Los Angeles, have nowhere to stay. So he says, so I bumped around quite a bit. I stay with some Jesuits, you know what I mean? With a group of Jesuits.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Know what I mean? Stay with the Jesuits. Know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of saw like that. Jesuits, they were in training. Yeah.
Jesuits in training.
Yeah.
Jesuit seminarians.
Yeah. So, Noam Chomsky did the same, right?
Oh yeah, in South
Pull,
America.
mm-hmm. He's always beneficial to your career, right? But
Absolutely. Hey, look, if there's one thing that's really gonna bump up your career,
but
is spending some sleepy overs with the Jesuits.
I'll
Oh,
probably sleep with my jeans on. I think.
I would sleep with my jeans on and the door locked, right, George?
yes. Well, hello, Johnny. Hello, Felipe, and
Hey,
good
George.
afternoon. And yes, it's good to be alive.
George is
I
back.
would, if I'm sleeping over with Jesuits, I would sleep with my full overalls.
Oh, by the way, this is the first time I've spoken with Felipe since my little mishap a couple weeks ago, and I just have some bad news, Felipe.
Mhm.
When I was in the ambulance with the EMT,
Mm.
I decided to liven up the situation by telling a couple of jokes, and they booed me. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I was trying. I tried to call you, George, see how you're doing, and yeah.
Yes, and of course, one of the things I had the nerve to say, George, if we had paid to see you at the nightclub, we would have demanded a refund.
Well, we like your bad jokes, George.
Yes.
Well, so anyhow, so so I had to wear the nitwit nappy while I was in ambulance, and then actually jammed that thing up my nose a couple
Oh,
of times, not once or twice. So I just it's safe to say I don't have the corona hoax. Therefore, I did not give it to Donald Trump. I
Yeah,
repeat.
but
oh
now
no,
you've got something else. Whatever was on that Q-tip that they jammed into the back of your head, now you've got it. You're gonna slowly mutate yourself.
no microchip.
Yeah, yeah, with microchip. Who knows? He might become. Oh, what is that? Not the swamp thing. What's the other one?
Um,
Uh,
Cyborg.
the, there's the mutants, the mutant superhero. What is it?
so you know, I'll just pull up here. Apparently, Reuters has a fact check saying that coronavirus tests do not cause brain damage.
Good
Or
Reuters, and Reuters fact checks are about as reliable as the previous Reuters story that said Bill Gates absolutely positively never ever ever spent any time with Jeffrey Epstein. Meanwhile, there's a New York Times article taken the year before full with pictures of Bill Gates with Jeffrey Epstein. So the
so,
Reuters fact checking team leaves much to be desired.
Okay, so just want to say for the record, in order you had to have a brain in order for it to be damaged. So I'm good to go there. Um,
Yeah.
so,
George, you're your own worst critic.
well, well, anyhow, so I realized you had some material to cover, but we didn't do a show last week because I'm not sure we're having some sort of technical issues.
Right.
So can I just mention a couple of things this week. Uh, they're having the Amy Sasha Cohen Barrett show, in which was just like another episode of Jesuitical Theater 101. So they're basically Amy Sasha Cohen Barron is a female version of Brett Kavanaugh, and it was you had the usual suspects. Who you had all these senators who were querying Barron, Dianne Feinstein, Senator Hiroti, the Japanese-born senator from Hawaii, um, and you had the other Amy Klobuchar. So Hirota was born, Senator Hirota from Hawaii was born in Japan. So she's not actually American born. She got her, I believe, her undergrad degree or one of her degrees from Georgetown University. Also, you have the other Amy Klobuchar, the senator from Minnesota. Her husband, John Besser, is an adjunct professor at Georgetown University. And Dianne Feinstein, whom we've discussed before, she's German Jewish on her dad's side, apostate Russian Orthodox on her mom's side, but she went to school at a Catholic convent in San Francisco, Sacred Heart. So, and we've talked at great lengths about Amy Sasha Cohen Barrett, how she was a professor at Notre Dame, got a law degree at Notre Dame, and her father, Michael Coney, got his law degree from Loyola New Orleans.
Yeah, just another example. I started to tell the story about a sports fan that was stopping by the channel and trying to write a comment that opened the door for us to change his mind on who was really running things, JOOS or JESUITS, Jews or Jesuits. And I was excited to see the comments. And every time I would try to answer the comments, it was impossible because YesuTube was deleting every single one before it got there. And eventually he thought it was me. And so he wrote something that was very, very nasty. And he finally wrote something completely plain, absolutely bread and butter and water plain, that finally got past the unbelievable Nazi friggin' YouTube censors. It was like a single sentence of 4 words. And I was finally able to answer him and say, yes, it has been YouTube deleting your comments before they even appear. And unfortunately for you, I've also been getting notifications of your comments. And so he was humiliated and apologized because he was punked by the extreme censors, the Nazi scum of YesuTube. They're just out of control right now. They are absolutely out of control. Absolutely out of control. And so the long and short of it is Dianne Not So Feinstein, the Supreme Court, the Jew versus Jesuit breakdown of the Supreme Court. Everything you need to know about who's really in charge, who's really running things. The ACLU far left raisin Ruth Buzzy Ginsburg lawyerette finally kicks the bucket. The close friend of Federalist conservative Antonin Opus Dei, Knight of Hubertus, Bohemian Grove, Scalia, the good friend of this staunch conservative. And now they're both dead, and they're both gone. And what do we get? We get more Jesuits. We get more Jesuit-trained Catholics. Everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. Was it his handle? Apollonius, his handle was? Apollo. Well, I'm just watching Creed, so your name is your code name is Apollo. Everything you need to know can be. I can cut to the chase right now. The Supreme Court and the Corona hoax. If you want to really cause damage and just absolutely contravene any interference by the common citizenry with games like elections or any of that, because elections are just a ridiculous joke, but they can be a pain in the ass. You have to manipulate voting machines, and you got to have dead, illegal, alien, Roman Catholic Mexicans voting 40 and 50 and 60 times. And it's just kind of troublesome. You can avoid all of that with unbelievable legislative tyranny as a stench from the bench. Whether it's mandating homosexual marriage or mandating unborn slaughter or mandating pornography, you just cut right to it. Just cut right through it and have it done yourself. And the Corona hoax, George, and the Supreme Court are as Roman as they get. Anthony, Jesuit-trained medical inquisitor Fauci, that little piece of shit, double Jesuit dripped, his wife triple Jesuit dripped, then known as Colonel Burks with her family priest friend, Robert Jesuit-trained Redfield, the devout crusader Roman Catholic, all the way back to the founder of the CDC, Mountain, that Roman Catholic piece of shit. Everything you need to know about Jews versus Jesuits, George, right to the top of the headlines right now today. Corona hoax, Supreme Court, Rome, 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 Rome.
Get downstream. Merrily, life is but a dream. Anyhow, can I just bring up something that ties into this? As you know, I live about an hour or so north of San Francisco, and there's an AM radio station, which is one of the largest radio stations on the West Coast. It's KGO 810. It's news talk, and they've had a number of personalities on the station over the years, and this does pertain to our conversation. One of them was Bernard Vincent Ward, who was born in 1951. He was on KGO radio from 1985 to 2007. And I can't make this up. He was an ordained Franciscan priest for 2 years. And among other things, he was the advisor to Barbara Boxer, the ex-Senator Ed from California. Boxer was the Senator Ed from California from 1993 to 2019. And prior to that, she was a member of the U.S. Congress.
And at the time, with Boxer and Feinstein, you had two Yentas. You had two far-left Jewesses representing in the so-called American Senate, not to be confused with the Roman Senate, the People's Republic of Mexipornia.
Okay, so if I can just mention a couple of details about Ward. As I said, he was a Boxer's handler from 1985.
And George, let me step on you one more time, George. Boxer, also a transplant. Yenta, a far-left Jewish Yenta from New York.
Mm-hmm.
So also part of the formula that we repeatedly give up to our great fans. Not born here is very important when you're screwing the citizenry. Go ahead.
Okay, so you almost spent the entire show just talking about Ward. Okay, in December 2007, Ward was dismissed from KGO when he pled guilty to being in possession of child pornography. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison for having somewhere between 15 and 150 images on his computer. Now, as I said, he was also the advisor to Barbara Boxer for 7 years, 1985 to 92. And as I said, he was a talk show host in KGO radio from 1985 to 2007, so over 20 years, and is a uber hardcore commentard. Now, let me just talk.
What's the full name again?
Bernard Vincent Ward.
All right, and summary, had his own talk show, an advisor to Yenta far-left Jewish Barbara Boxer, a former Franciscan priest and a pedophile.
He was.
Yes, and of course. Now, let me just talk to you about his education where he actually talks. He attended Holy Name Grammar School, which is a primary school for those in the UK, um, St. Ignatius High School, University of San Francisco.
These guys.
Then he got,
Yeah, just say this guy went to all Catholic school. Yeah, you can possibly think.
so he did 3 years of Franciscan School of Theology in Berkeley, where he got a degree in theology in 1977. He was ordained in the priesthood as a missionary of the Precious Blood. I've never heard of them before. So he also taught theology at Cardinal Newman High School and Santa Rosa High School, Ursuline High School in Santa Rosa, where he was first accused of sexual misconduct back in the 1970s. He also taught at Bellarmine College Preparatory School in San Jose. He taught at Georgetown Preparatory School in D.C. So that was his education. Did you catch all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are complaints. I have your audio as good, but there are complaints in the chat that your audio is low. So I don't know, Doc, if you want to try and work that yourself.
Yeah. George is maximum now. 200%.
All right, he's max on mine as well. No, I would say that's an outstanding. Bernie Ward is an outstanding find. St. Ignatius High School, Jesuit University of San Francisco, Franciscan School of Theology.
Georgetown Prep, Bellarmine College Prep.
Wow. Jesuit, pedophile.
He was called the Lion of the Left.
Of the left. And a pedophile.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Yeah.
No, outstanding. Yes, Mark asked earlier in the chat, Babs is out. Yeah, Box Me Boxer is long since gone. And Kamala, I'm on my back, Harris. I don't know that she replaced her. She's sitting in her seat, right? She was replaced by... Yes! Replaced by Kamala. I sleep my way to the Judiciary Harris. Yep.
Yeah, preceded by Barbara
Box Me Boxer, succeeded by... I slept with Willie Brown Kamala.
Now, I feel sorry for Kamala. I mean, God only knows what she could have contracted from him.
That's true. I mean, but look, I mean, Willie was such a stud, wasn't he? Absolutely somebody that would just charm somebody decades younger than him. I don't blame her at all. Actually, I do. I mean, it's bad enough. You know, I look at some of these people. I look at Melania, and I know that she has a very poor Eastern European devout Roman Catholic background, but the people, I look at the female that married Harvey Weinstein, the model that married Harvey. How is the money really worth letting some fat, disgusting pig violate you, slobber all over you? I don't... Really offensive. Really offensive. And to bear it like that female, let that pig Harvey Weinstein impregnate her and bore him a child. Are you kidding me? Same thing with Melania. That fat slob, that nasty fat pig. Hey, when you're famous, you can grab a woman in the pussy. What a guy. What a charmer. The president of the conservative Christian president of the United States. Hey, we can say Merry Christmas now. Right, Tony Perkins, you fucktard, you piece of shit, you phony Christian. Mm-hmm. You stand behind that scum. You stand behind that scumbag. Absolutely every piece of shit who pretends to be a Christian and blows smoke up the ass of Trump and Pence, those pedophiles, and I've seen accusations. I have not been able to prove anything on Pence, but I've seen believable accusations that he's deep in pedophilia.
Uh,
Mr. Evangelical Catholic. Go ahead, Doc.
so since we started this topic, have you guys heard on the Ravi Zacharias allegations?
Surprise, surprise. The now judged ecumenical evangelical Ravi Zacharias. Accusations in what regard?
So first of all, it looks like he owned a couple of spas, co-owned some spas, which for me is already yellow flag. And
You love how it's so much fun to get naked at a spa, isn't it?
right, so three women now came forth saying that Ravi Zacharias touched them inappropriately, exposed
What a
himself,
surprise.
masturbated during regular treatment over a
What a surprise.
period of about 5 years. The-
Shocker. Now, you don't think a clown like that would be empowered to humiliate Christians?
Mm.
I mean, that would never happen, right? You would never take someone that was deeply flawed and give them a lot of spotlight and a lot of airtime and a lot of popularity and recommend their videos on YouTube and then have them implode in their death.
Yeah, the way.
After he's gone, of course. After he's gone. After he's long dead, we'll get these accusations.
Yes. Always like that, yeah. It's after.
That's the way it works.
But yeah, so there's an investigation on it, these allegations. But don't feel. We also feel strange. Christian pastor or minister co-owns pastor is.
George, for fuck's sake, if you're going to move your house, mute first. I'm muting your ass. Fucking George. All right, sorry for my language and my outburst. I love George, but every once in a while I'll get a troll or a fan or both. Johnny, why are you so mean at George? I love him. He's absolutely insidious. He's absolutely insidious, and you could only love somebody like that or go the opposite direction. Fortunately or unfortunately, as it goes, he's a dear friend, and I love him. Anyway, go ahead with Ravi Zacharias and these accusations after he's long dead, of course.
Yeah, I'll just say that that for a Christian minister or own spas or massage spas is a little bit strange.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. So you're throwing the Johnny bullshit flag on Ravi owning several spas. How did Ravi have the? How do you have, as a Christian minister, the thousands upon thousands of dollars to invest in spas in the first fucking place?
Yeah.
How do you have that kind of capital at your disposal?
Good question. Eh?
Yeah. Empowered by Rome. And let's not forget, as I've hinted at, how eager Ravi was to throw his arms around the great whore of Babylon and be a good ecumenist and bring us all under the umbrellacum. Put all Christianity under the umbrellacum.
Yeah, we're all Christians, right?
We're all Christians. Even the ones that burn the other ones. Even the ones that torture the other ones.
Right.
Of course, Johnny, according to Tony Palmer, the protest is over. We all know.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Jeremy's got a long list of all the frauds. Yeah, Jerry Falwell Jr. And another one that wants to blow smoke up that piece of shit Trump. Absolutely anybody. Absolutely any so-called Christian. And now this is difficult. This is difficult. Oh, you've got Francis's boy toy up.
Protest is over.
Yeah, the protest is over. The protest is over. It's difficult. You have to keep proper perspective. I would say if I were a public figure, do I dare unmute George to see what's going on?
You see, I muted him too. You double muted. Yeah. Uh,
It is here's the problem that we always face. Um, when you're trying to give people truth about George Bush, about Ronald Reagan, about Donald Trump, any of these frauds, Paul Ryan, John Boehner, on and on and on and on. The list of these frauds on the right. It's very important to me to clarify that when I'm attacking them, it's not to attack their phony ideology. The problem is they are frauds. They are not right wing, and I use that word instead of conservative because that's a Jesuit word to imply that we're all stuck in the mud. We're not liberal. We're not free thinking. We're not progressive like the communist baby raping scum, baby eating, child raping scum on the far left. That's all manipulation. Liberal, conservative, those are words, those are Jesuit words of manipulation. Even right versus left, it's just not as clear with right versus left. Blue versus red. In the military, I've said this repeatedly in the past. On a military sand table, on a military tactical map, blue is ally, red are the guys you want to kill. Oh, I'm a red. I'm in a red state. You're the enemy. Yes, George.
Okay. Can I address that? And of course, there's a certain psychology involved with colors, because different colors have different meanings depending upon their context. So you're talking about red and blue. Well, red is hot, is passionate, is communist. Blue is cold. You had during the American Revolutionary War, the British were the redcoats. And of course, communism, red is the color of communism. So this confuses people. And so, one of the cliches I remember, one of the slogans I remember growing up, and it goes back to at least the 1950s, is it's better off to be dead than red.
Yes, agreed. There are absolutely psychological connotations with colors as they are used in modern reference. And I'm going to pull a George. I'm going to go back to a completely unrelated previous topic of people who have paid for their success with their firstborn son. I'm saying that because I'm looking at Barbara Box Me Boxer and how she had a Senate committee position that was previously held by James Mountain Inhofe. And that reminds me of, let's see, who was it? Another New Mexico senator. Oh, bear with me. It was, diminishing. Was it Inhofe? Oh, it was. Wait a minute. Let me see. Was it Inhofe that lost his son in a plane accident?
let's see. Plane.
Domenici was the one that had the rather public baby mama adultery. I think it was Inhofe.
Yes,
Hold on.
yes, Inhofe.
Inhofe, right?
Yes.
So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at Box Me Boxer. And Inhofe, she replaced Inhofe as they bounce back and forth between Reptilian and Demon Rat holding these Senate committees.
It was on November 10, 2013.
Stop. Are you sure it's Inhofe?
Yeah, Dr. Perry Inhofe, which
Do
is
you know that Domenici also has a son that? Wait, no, let me see. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's Senate. Domenici's son confirmed his death. Okay, got it.
so he
Got it. So Inhofe's son died.
he was flying alone for the first time since training.
Yeah, there definitely something smells there. So that reminds me of the list of people who have paid for their success with the death of their firstborn son, and that also includes Sylvester Stallone, does it not?
Oh, okay.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. Sly
Really?
Sylvester was he only child or Sage Stallone? He's a
Yes.
Sage. Oh, okay. Pull up here.
So there's a scene in Creed 2 where Rocky gets back with his estranged son on screen. And I'm sure that was, let's say that,
He's,
and I think there's some question as to, CIA says, hey, this was a heart attack. This was not drugs. It was not drugs. It was a heart attack at 36 years old. 36.
36 heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
So his funeral at San Martin of Tours Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which doctor like do the examination? Right, was the same who did for Epstein, or
Are you asking me? I don't know.
just,
Hold on.
who
Hold
knows?
on.
Who did the autopsy?
No. No.
Yeah,
No.
that would be too much.
Now there are headlines. Stallone death a mystery. Really?
Mystery.
Oh, look at this. Look at this connection. This is from CNN. Although the investigation into actor Corey Haim's death 2 years ago began as suspected prescription medication overdose, toxicology tests revealed no significant contributing factors from drugs. It was pneumonia, not drug abuse, that killed Corey Haim. Absolutely. Listen, healthy adult men die of pneumonia all the time.
Oh, it just reminded me of Brittany Murphy, right? She also died of at 32 and then a combination of pneumonia and something else.
That is listed.
Yeah.
Brittany Murphy, the killer pneumonia.
Yeah, pull up here.
Killer pneumonia.
Combination of
I hate when that happens.
multiple drug intoxication and pneumonia.
So, look, at the bare minimum, you know, difficult subject because you want to move forward and not be unprofessional. You don't want to come across as just some
Like
schmuck in his man cave.
Gene Fetzer, like nobody died.
Yeah,
Sandy
you don't want to do that either. You don't want to be a Jim Fetzer. There's a balance between being insensitive and yet discussing important topics. Sylvester Stallone is a very wealthy, powerful public figure. The fact that his son, he has outlived his son. Oh, related video. Stallone seeks answers in son's death, 3 minutes and 33 seconds. I hate when that happens. As I mentioned earlier, Stallone accused of pedophilia, having his own rape island by Bryce Taylor, also known as Susan Ford.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that. True. He was accused by Bryce Taylor.
Doc, where have you been?
On vacation.
You've been on location? Well, I need you to go on location. You need to go on the street like George. You're on the street interview.
Um, how George got the corona. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about in my stream, which you were listening to, right? How I feel like Rocky, pardon me, Rambo, Last Blood, was Stallone slaying his own demons,
Mm,
his own human trafficking demons in his past. Not that he's involved in trafficking, that he just took advantage of the benefits of trafficking.
hmm. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, he has to deal with it now. Right?
Well, and that's when my microphone suddenly went dead mysteriously. Is when I said, "Hey, you want your soul back? The best way to get your soul back,
Hmm.
put it all on the table. Put it all on the table. You
Yeah.
come out with courage and honesty. This is in my past.
The same that you said to Craig Sawyer, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Craig Sawyer needs to be with him and do the same thing.
Hmm.
Come clean on his past.
Right.
And then we can all be real veterans for child rescue and not phony smokescreen bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to get your soul back. And in particular, as I said, as a Christian, I can offer that deepest peace of mind, heart, and spirit. And give yourself to Jesus Christ. And at that point, you are 100% invincible until He's ready to take you.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, that's true.
And that's how it's going to happen. As our good friend Fritz Springmeier says, the umbrella has to be closed from the inside.
Hmm. Agree.
And so the question is there. It's a legitimate question. I believe it's his only son, right?
I think I saw it. Let me see. Maybe it's his wife next to. Uh,
Certainly the case for Bill Cosby. Enos was his only son.
you talk about Stallone, only son.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Okay,
he have
got it.
Sergio Stallone and had three,
Okay, there's another son, Sergio. Go ahead, George.
three daughters.
Well, according to Russian vids, all of his daughters are boys.
Yeah, that's. I'm not surprised, George. Listen, let me give some fodder to our friend.
And
Go ahead.
looks like he liked the letter S, right? Everyone is Sophia, Scarlett, Sergio, Sistine, Sage, Sly, Stallone.
Stupid.
It should be neuter.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you do with your pets, not your children.
Mm.
I would love to sit in a room with Sly, but I can't pull my punches either. Not a fan of that kind of stuff, man. Not a fan.
Mm.
Not a fan.
Okay, but is that any worse than Kobe?
Kobe's.
Yeah, that's about as parents naming their child after a slab of very expensive meat, which is the story behind Kobe Bean Bryant's name. No exaggeration. They should have been neutered too. Good Roman Catholic that he was, just like LeBron, good Roman Catholic that he is, who eclipsed Kobe's record in Philadelphia the weekend of his murder. Pardon me. I'm sorry. Accidental death. Did I say? No, I didn't mean to say murder. I'm sorry.
Okay, but actually, I can trump all those. No pun intended. How about Sirhan Bass Rush Sirhan?
Well, very, very useful for a narrative, George. Very useful for a Roman Jesuit CIA narrative. That poor guy, you know, I look at somebody like Charles Manson, who's never murdered anybody in his life, imprisoned for his lifetime. Charles Manson was really kind of a piece of shit. He may or may not. Look, nobody deserves. That's not justice. Incarceration is Jesuit injustice. It has nothing to do with justice in either direction. Too much time, not enough time. It's not justice. Manson, who was made into what he was by spending time at Boys Town as a young boy at the hands of priests without a guardian, never murdered anybody in his life. But I look at somebody like Sirhan who was basically just black bagged and disappeared for his natural life. And that's about as criminal as it gets. That's about as injustice as it gets. I'm not tracking the rest of his life, as far as I know, in no way, shape, or form. 100% patsy, 100% unfairly beaten down for a lifetime.
Well, I wasn't talking about the justice of his sentence. I was talking about his name.
I know. I'm talking about his name. Well, I pulled a slight, George, and rolled that into his sentence, George. And also interesting how Robert Francis Kennedy Jr. is leaning very heavily towards Sirhan being innocent. Okay. Well, who has the power to murder a sitting... Was Bobby a senator at the time? He was part of the... He was running for president, right? A senator running for president. Who has that kind of power? The same people have the power to murder a sitting president. The Catholic Intelligence Agency. Yes, George, go.
Well, Bobby was a senator from New York at the time, and he was running... It was pretty much a fait accompli. He was going to get the Neiman nomination for 1968, but then he had this little mishap at the Ambassador Hotel on June the 5th of that year. By the way, this is according to Mae Brussel, one of her broadcasts. David Shine was the owner of the Ambassador Hotel. He was Jewish, but according to Mae Brussel, he was actually a Knight of Malta. So I wish our friend Zach were back on the show, because I'm sure he can elaborate as to why they choose certain dates. I'm not sure what the significance is of June the 5th, but I'm sure there had to be one.
Yeah, I don't know why Zach has pulled a Homer Simpson, but I assume he's got his reasons. Decided to melt back into numbers only and not maintain communication with us. It's all okay. Cool. All right, look, next topic. You've got these citations from Mae Brussel. I'm still waiting on the details of how Henry Kissinger is a closet Roman Catholic too, from Mae Brussel. Right now, it's rather nebulous for me to just say Mae Brussel said so, and not give any of the specifics.
Well, according to James from Japan, he is a Knight of Malta. Also, according to Eric Bowman, he was back in the 1970s. He was. Kissinger was an adjunct professor at Georgetown University. Now, that does not necessarily make him a Catholic, but we know for a fact that he's been a regular guest at the Al Smith Network, most recently, at least 2016.
Well, then he's been charged with making the Pope of America laugh.
Yes, of course. As a matter of fact, back in 2016, as you may recall, Al Smith the fourth, I believe his grandson or great-grandson, was noted the fact that you notice that we have a number of very prominent Catholics here. Michael Bloomberg, Chuck Schumer, and Henry Kissinger.
Yeah, Henry Kissinger is a frequent Sorosian target. I gotta tell you guys, I'm running out of steam after having started early at noon, so I don't have a lot of steam left.
Okay, can I just mention one other thing?
No, wait,
I
no,
saw,
listen. Let's do this. You don't have to go because I'm going. Um, you're here, and your audio is in. I'm gonna leave it to. Hold on, pardon me. Hang on, just a second. Sorry. Oh, the sneeze come over. Why don't you just keep going?
Yep.
Keep going, and you've got a bunch of topics. I've got a bunch of topics, but I don't know that I have the energy to get them out anymore.
okay, so do you want to pick this up tomorrow morning?
You know what? I'm not even sure what my schedule is going to be. I've been interested in a class at noon, and I don't know how I want to juggle my schedule. I don't know if I can really start at 9. I will. I guess I can text you or call you and let you know what time I'm starting.
Hmm.
I may try to start early. We'll see how tomorrow morning goes, how I'm feeling, and
Okay,
we'll go from there. Just go. No, I want you to. You asked me a question. Let me answer your question. I apologize.
yeah.
Try to stick around and go through your topics with Doc and
Hmm.
go for a little bit longer.
That's good for me. Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
before you check out, Johnny, could I just mention one other topic that it sort of ties into what we were talking about earlier?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I mentioned this radio station, KGO 810, where I'm sorry, Bernie Ward was well, might as well have been a Bernie Sanders, but there's another prominent host named Ron Owens. He was born in 1935, and he was on the show from 1975 to 2018. Um, and of course, he's just like an uber
Ron, who you broke up? What's the, Ron? Who?
Ron Owen, but
Oh,
that's his stage name. His birth name is Ronald Lowenstein.
Oh no.
oh, what a surprise!
Oh.
So anyhow, but you can check off all the boxes on his views on just about every subject. Um, Abortion, Second Amendment, same-sex marriage, all that sort of stuff. So Ronald Lowenstein, as I said, he changed his name to Ron Owen to sound more sounding. And he's been married for I guess since the 1970s, and he has at least two daughters. One of whom, Laura Owen, graduated from St. Ignatius Prep School in San Francisco back in the year 2008.
Hmm.
And he's a talk show host.
But he was, and of course, complete commentary. You can check the box on any topic: Second Amendment, abortion, same-sex marriage, you name it.
Well, another useful papal court puppet. All right, man. I am out. The chat is talking about Andy Gibbs of the Bee Gees. All right.
Really? What? Okay. Okay. I need to check it because the
Now,
manager for the
keep going. Keep going. I will stay listening and talk to you guys later.
Okay.
okay the manager for the Bee Gees was Bob Stigwood, Robert Stigwood, who is an Australian-born, I guess, impresario. He went to I forgot the name of the Catholic school he went to in Australia. I believe in Aberdeen. Sacred Hearts College, I believe. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm just going
Sa-
from
Sacred Heart in Adelaide.
yes, you're familiar with it.
Yeah. Can I just look at right now? Yeah.
Okay, so Stigwood was also the manager, I believe, for I want to say Led Zeppelin.
That's Apple. I don't see on his Wikipedia page, but it can be. So Robert
Oh no, I'm sorry, not Led Zeppelin. Cream. They were Uh,
Cream. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cream and Bee Gees. Yeah.
um, so that featured Eric Clapton. Their popular Cream was popular back in the late '60s. He also became, I guess, a film producer. Was he helped to produce, I believe, Jesus Christ Superstar in the early 1970s, Grease, and of course Saturday Night Live. I'm sorry, Saturday Night Fever, which
Hmm.
featured music of the Bee Gees.
Hmm. Yeah. I'll check
So,
here. Hmm.
okay, I'm not looking at the chat. So, what are they talking about? The late Andy Dick.
Uh, let's see. Yeah, they're talking about Bee Gees and. Uh, uh, I don't know. Do you have any top? I think you sent me a list of topics. Let's see. You talk about Laura Owen, right? I saw that was on the list. And
Uh,
let's see. What else do you?
okay, I talked about this radio station, this talk station in San Francisco. Uh, we talked about Bernie Ward and the Rano and his daughter. Well, I'm not looking online right now. So, what
Mhm.
else? What was the topic?
Oh, the other was. I think you already talked about Amy Sasha Conan Barrett.
Yes. Okay. For the record, yes, I know that's not. I know that's not her name, but it sounds similar to the actor Sacha Cohen Baron.
Right. Yeah, the 3-4 name. How about Daniels Ellsberg? Do you have anything?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
thank you for bringing that up. Daniel Ellsberg is about
Oh,
90 years old. He was born in 1931, so he's like almost 90 years old. So his cause célèbre was the publishing of what were known as the Pentagon Papers in the early 1970s. I believe that was, I want to say it was the New York Times or Washington Post. It was like basically, I guess it was a case of controlled opposition
mm-hmm.
and
Right.
a controlled burn, in which he exposed, according to Pentagon Papers, it did say that the whole rationale for the Vietnam War was completely bogus. There was no legitimate military reason for the United States to get involved in Vietnam or bomb Cambodia or things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
regarding Daniel Ellsberg,
See, he's
yes,
from. He has a Jewish background, right?
uh,
From
yes. So and of course,
converted to Christian Science, Christian Scientist.
okay, and all right. Okay, what I wanted to talk about was his son Robert Ellsberg,
Okay.
and I'll be doing that in just a moment.
Robert Ellsberg. See, spent a few months with the Catholic worker movement.
Yes, and so he's the editor in chief of Orbis Books, the publishing arm of Mary Knoll.
Mm-hmm. Orbis Books.
So,
Uh,
and of course, since the early 1970s, Daniel Ellsberg has been basically like, you could say he was like a Norm Chomsky or Robert Zen type or Howard Zen type character. He's like part of the anti-war
mm-hmm.
counterculture movement.
Okay. Daniel. That's his father, right? Daniel. Father.
Daniel Ellsberg
Mm-hmm.
and Robert, his son, actually works for a Catholic publication, Orbis Books.
Oh, Orbis is Catholic.
Yes, it's
Uh,
the publishing arm of Mary Knoll. Mary Knoll
oh,
is
yeah, liberation theology. Yeah, it's Catholic.
ah uh, yes. So
Okay.
you see how this works?
I see. I see. So his son works for a Catholic um, publisher. So he also involved with. Where is his son here? Robert Catholic Worker Movement, which is a collection of Catholic communities. Oh, so that's uh, is linked with Dorothy Day. So it's founded by Dorothy Day, which is uh, I think she spent time in Brazil.
Uh,
See,
as did Jim Jones.
yeah, I'll see. Where am I? Maybe, yeah, I remember she spent time. Okay, interesting. See, how did you came across the him, Daniel?
Well, yeah, I've been familiar with Daniel Ellsberg for years, probably the 1980s, because he was, I mean, as I said, he's basically considered to be in the same league as Howard Zinn and Noam Chomsky in terms of when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to leftist anti-war movement, whether you're talking about Vietnam and later Iraq, Afghanistan, places like that.
Right, I see.
And of course, according to that crowd, Ellsberg, Chomsky, and so forth, yes, the United States government and the U.S. military has engaged in all sorts of wicked operations for generations, going back, to at least the Korean War. And of course, it's just the evil Americans that are oppressing these these brown people, whether you talk about Vietnam or uh, Iraq, Afghanistan, or throughout Latin America. With the publishing with the wars in El Salvador, Nicaragua in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
Never, and they never mentioned the fact that yes, the U.S. government, the U.S. military has engaged in all these activities, but they never mentioned the Roman connection.
Hmm. That's true. Yeah, they always left this without mentioning. Uh, let's see. I see he also voiced support for Edward Snowden, right? So he's against um, the espionage or like government espionage. And you still in the room?
Yes, I just had to step outside for a sec.
Okay, yeah. So, did you um, do you have any other topic in mind? I was thinking about just mention one thing.
Well, I would like to. Well, I've that's what. Yes, I had other things to talk about, but I'm not prepared at the moment. Was there
Uh,
anything else you wanted to bring up?
uh, I was just going to mention I was looking to Jackie Chan because thanks to you exposing Bruce Lee, then
Hmm.
um, I think I didn't find like any smoky gun, but um, I saw a video on YouTube that he he says in Mandarin, so I asked some help for translation, but it looks like um, he's very thankful for having a priest when he was a young boy, and I think a priest lent him a coat, so uh, he was cold, and then the priest helped him and lent him a coat. Then he was deeply thankful for the priest that taught him how to share things with the community and so on. I found that interesting. Then and he apparently he also hired a priest to conduct his marriage here in the U.S. So he He was having I think his wife had a non-planned pregnancy, so he had to come to California very quick to get married, and they just found a priest and to to marry then. So um, yeah, I think this, yeah, as I say, it's not, they don't find like any Jesuit in the wood pile. I think it's interesting indicators of maybe his preference. Right, and then
Well, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
well, you can say that Jackie Chan has basically picked up the mantle for Bruce Lee.
Yes, it kind, yeah. I think now he's the most influential martial arts actor, right, in the West for sure.
Well, yes, and of course, a big difference between Chan and uh, Lee is Chan was actually a star in China long before he came to the West.
Okay, yeah, that's true. He was already a star.
And of course,
Yeah.
another difference between them is Chan, for the most part, even though he does has similar skills as Lee, is largely noted for his comedic roles, at least here in the West. Now,
Mm,
for what I understand, it's a little bit different in China. He was more like Bruce Lee in that he was the he was Mr. Tough Guy. He was always beating up the bad guys,
hmm
and they weren't and his movies weren't made weren't comedies for the most part.
mm,
Whereas they decided to make him a more of a comedic character in America and Europe and places like that.
yeah. So, what fascinated me about him was that he doesn't have a double, right? So he performs all the stunts in his movies, and I was watching a documentary on him, and then see like he had a very good like work ethic and uh, yeah. So I was thinking he was a nice guy. Then I was uh, looking to his family, right? So it seems that he have his son was J.C. Chang was caught with I think he spent 6 months in prison in China for possession of marijuana, and and he has a daughter out of the his marriage, which he never recognized. So he never helped financially and never recognized in public that's his daughter. And despite of yeah, really being his daughter, everyone else knows it. But and she's a lesbian, right? She's married to a woman. So yeah, his personal life definitely not well adjusted. um, yeah. Uh,
Oh,
yep. Go.
okay. So that is actually the topic I have prepared for today.
Okay. Do you you mean you is this related or you gonna?
Oh no, I mean I no, as I said, I don't have anything to add.
Okay. I see. Yeah. I have one more thing here. There was. Do you know this guy, Hoy, this actor Hoy Horan, the third? Was an
I'm sorry.
uh, Hoy Horan.
I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with him.
He was, I think he was actor. He was. I watched a couple movies with him. Um, let's see. When I came across with him, I think he played a Jesuit priest in one of Jackie Chan's movie Snake in the Eagle Shadow. Yeah, that's how I came across him. See, are you a fan of this kind of movies? I
Yeah.
watched quite a
Well,
lot when I was
you
young.
know, I, you know, I've only I'm only vaguely familiar with the work of Jackie Chan. I've seen one of the Rush Hour movies.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah, yeah. And also the very famous one with Chris Tucker, right? They have the trilogy. Um, oh, forgot now his name. The name of the movies. Uh,
Well, I mean, I know he's done other things like he was in the remake of Around the World in 80 Days.
okay. Yeah, Rush Hour. Rush Hour. The movies. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, Chris Tucker was in the list. Jeffrey Epstein. One of Jeffrey Epstein lists, right, for Lolita Express.
Oh,
Um,
wait, is that Eric?
Oh yeah, I just hey guys, sorry, I had some company over at my house, kind of unexpectedly around too, but I can stick around to the end of the stream.
oh, nice. We are running out of topics. Nice.
Well, no. So, anyhow, Eric, were you able to listen to any of the show?
Not much, no. So I'll need like a little background just to get caught up.
Okay, so one of the things we're talking about is the latest U.S. Supreme Court circus with Amy Sasha Cohen Barron. How this week you had the senior senator from California, Dianne Feinstein, querying her, although she was much nicer to her this time around than she was back in 2017 when she was running for, or when she was nominated for the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago. You had Senator Macy Aroni questioning Cohen Barron, and you had the other Amy, Klobuchar. Now, just as a quick reminder, Dianne Feinstein obviously is of a Jewish background, but she went to Sacred Heart Convent School in San Francisco. Uh, uh, Amy Klobuchar's husband, Steve Bessler, is an adjunct professor at Georgetown University. And Maroney, I believe, got a law degree from Georgetown University. Something we had mentioned on a previous broadcast is Tony Barrett was a professor at Notre Dame, where she actually got a law degree. Her father, Michael Barrett, got his law degree from Loyola New Orleans.
hmm
Uh, yes, Loyola New Orleans, and where he made his career was he's an attorney for Shell Corporation.
Yep.
Oh no, thanks for the rundown of what you guys were discussing. That definitely it's some grandiose Jesuit theater, and they're making it seem like the Catholic Church is being persecuted,
Mm,
or that Amy Barrett's Catholicism is being persecuted. And I have an example of this just from a YouTube video that was uploaded 6 hours ago to it was on Fox News, but this is Senator Josh Hawley, Republican senator from Missouri, incumbent. He went to, interestingly, Jesuit Rockhurst High School, which is the prep school for Jesuit Rockhurst University. And this guy, he led the Federalist Society chapter at Yale Law School. I'm not sure if this guy's a skull and bones, but this Senator Hawley, and that's Senator Josh Hawley, he was on Roman Catholic Laura Ingram's Fox News show today, and he was making it seem like, oh, you know, like there's vicious, like bigoted anti-Catholicism going on from the Democrats questioning Amy Barrett's Catholicism. It's like, oh, there's 65 million of Catholics in America. How crazy that there's a Catholic on the court. Didn't say that there's now 7 Catholics on the court.
yeah,
Which
that's
is like, so if you look at the proportion, the population proportions, that would mean that for the 7 Catholics to be equally represented, there would have to be like 260 million Catholics living in the United States, not 60 million. So this guy was obviously, you know, the typical Jesuitical gaslighting. But this senator from Missouri, Jesuit-educated Josh Hawley, was on Roman Catholic Laura Ingram's Fox show, and he was like making it seem like the Democrats are victimizing the Catholic Church with these hearings, you know, which is laughable.
yeah,
And he, for instance, like the Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, like he brought up, like he even in his presentation, I don't think he's a Democrat. On the surface, he doesn't have any Jesuit connections. That being Sheldon Whitehouse, I think he served in the Navy. before, but he even brought up like he was holding these charts up where he was bringing up Leonard Leo's network and the Federalist Society and how dark money is quote dark money is corrupting the court. But all of the figures he brought up were devout papal knights. Like Leonard Leo is a knight of Malta, head of the Federalist Society. He was identifying him as the puppet master with omitting his huge Vatican connections. Yeah, that was it. Yes, he's the United States senator from Rhode Island. So the idea that the Catholic Church is, or the idea that the Democrats are going hard on the Catholic Church is laughable. When White House didn't even mention the church once in his entire presentation on Leonard Leo's shady Federalist Society network.
Yep.
There's definitely some grand theater going on. Make it seem that like Amy Barrett's like a victim of like anti-Catholic bigotry.
Well,
have you guys seen that as well? And even in the vice presidential debate, like Mike Pence was kind of she was shaming Kamala Harris for like disrespecting the Knights of Columbus.
Oh yeah, I saw this. They are raising some questions about how someone belonging to this all male Catholic order, right, is fit to for a public position, right, something like that.
Oh, absolutely, and that brought up again, like, the Democrats are anti-Catholic bigots.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, could I just last January, Pence had an audience with Francis, Jorge Bergoglio, and the meeting was an hour long. And I remember reading about this in my local newspaper, and they said even the reporters said it's unusual for the Pope to meet with somebody who's not a head of state or head of government for more than half an hour. An hour is extremely long meeting. So you may be wondering, is Mike Pence the de facto president?
Well, yeah, I personally I think we've been saying for quite a while that Mike Pence is probably the guy that's really running the show. Trump's just the figurehead, sent out to to divide the populace with his antics.
Just like
Something.
I was just say Joe Biden was the one behind Obama, right? Yeah.
And of course, something we've covered before is the presidential debate or the whole divide is supposed to be Trump versus Biden. Trump is supposed to be conservative, right wing, and Trump is supposed to be left wing, liberal, progressive. Even though Joe Biden has at least two honorary degrees from St. Joseph's University and University of Scranton. Also, his son Hunter Biden had his undergrad degree from Georgetown University. I think Eric.
Actually, George, did you guys see that? Just jump in after this, George. Did you see on Jesuit Hunter Biden the Facebook and Twitter are censoring this New York Post article that was just written about him? New documents came out, like a letter from like the head of the board of directors of Burisma. Letters. Hunter Biden was referenced in his letters that have just been recently released. That being the board head at Burisma, that natural gas company that Hunter Biden was a member of.
Mm-hmm.
So Facebook and Twitter are literally censoring this article for Hunter Biden. And Hunter Biden, we mentioned, has all these Jesuit connections. He even did the Jesuit Volunteer Corps down in Jamaica.
Okay. Well, we covered this before you were on the show, so forgive me for repeating myself. I was talking to Johnny and Felipe about a couple of news talk personalities. I live, as I said, about an hour north of San Francisco, and one of the prominent radio stations is KGO 810 AM. And we're discussing one of the hosts, Bernie Ward, who was born, I believe, in 1951. He was on KGO radio from 1985 to 2007 until he had to resign because of being possession of child pornography. He spent something like 6 years in prison. He had something like up to 150 images on his computer. Well, prior to being a talk show host, Ward was a Franciscan priest. We talked about his background. He went to Holy Names uh, High School, elementary school, St. Ignatius High School in San Francisco. He also went to the University of San Francisco for his undergrad degree, and he went to Franciscan Seminary in Berkeley. He taught. Ward actually taught at Georgetown Preparatory School in Maryland, Ursuline High School in Santa Rosa, California, Cardinal Newman High School in Santa Rosa, California, also Bellarmine Preparatory School in San Jose, California. Now, between 1985 and 92, he served as the advisor to U.S. Representative Barbara Boxer, who would later be a senator. Now, Ward had a reputation for being basically a full-on communist. Check off all the boxes on any issue: abortion, same-sex marriage, you name it. So, and as I said, he stepped down from this radio station unceremoniously back in 2007. Now, I believe Kamala Harris was the district attorney in San Francisco back then. I'm not sure why she wasn't able to get him out of that.
Maybe she was all her energy was going to bail out the pedophile bishops, I guess.
Oh,
While she
okay.
was in San Francisco.
So as I said, one of the details that I mentioned about Ward is from 1985 to 92. For 7 years, he was the advisor to Barbara Boxer. Um, so, in other words, you could say he was her handler.
Oh, absolutely, with all these Jesuit connections too. What was this? What was this guy's first name?
Bernard Vincent Ward.
Bernie Ward.
Yes, and I kept saying Bernie Sanders because I always get those two confused.
Oh, this is a great find. Definitely, this guy was Barbara Boxer's handler.
Yes, and of course we
Yeah,
mentioned
child understand the child pornography indictments. Just makes sense given his Catholic background.
now, but I'm just thinking he had something like 150 images, and he served something like 6 years in prison. So maybe Harris actually offered him a sweetheart deal rather than having him serve like 20 years. He only had to serve feels like six.
Yeah, like you think for being indicted for child pornography would get you more than 6 years in jail. That does seem like a light sentence.
Yes, I'll be right there.
Hey, George. Okay, 6 years, yeah, sort of, yeah, not a long time, right?
No, not at all.
Mm,
Especially for a crime as heinous as that.
mm-hmm. Yeah, Jerry.
Apparently, he did a 10-part series called "Heaven Help Us," which explored allegations of financial and sexual misconduct with the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of San Francisco.
Oh, I see here,
That's
yeah.
kind of ironic. Yeah, that's ironic. So he exposed them like well, I guess that's like I guess the situation of a controlled opposition character set up
Are you kidding?
by the Catholic Church.
So he was investigative journalism for explore allegations of sexual misconduct on the Archdiocese of San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to watch those. I'll have to watch those clips, but I guarantee it's very surface level. This
Yeah.
guy's probably definitely yeah, he's affiliated with Jesuit University of San Francisco. This guy was a Franciscan priest, taught at the or studied at the Franciscan School of Theology.
Hmm.
Taught, and George said he taught at Jesuit Bellarmine Prep, taught at Jesuit Georgetown Prep, taught at Cardinal Newman High School.
Yeah,
Worked.
I,
Yeah, this guy worked with California Representative Barbara Boxer. I'll have to watch this guy's his report on the church corruption, but I guarantee you, with that
yeah,
example of controlled opposition.
yeah, it's gonna be truthful. I never see anyone with that much Catholic schools in the background, really. Like, yeah.
Actually, look, it says here he compared Judaism with Nazism.
So you have another Catholic Jew hater.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
He says he uses the word Christianity, but I think he's talking about Catholicism. On December 9, 1996, Ward stated that Christianity was, quote, morally superior to Judaism
Okay.
because it was based on unconditional forgiveness. Well, so that just fits that's a reoccurring a pattern we see with uh, Jesuit provocateurs. They
Oh,
use Jews and just other groups. The Protestants get blamed for the world's problems, Jews or Muslims, everyone else but the Catholic Church.
oh, yeah. So yeah, during this show on September the 12th, he compared the Orthodox Jews to Nazis. Nazis. Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder if
Also,
I'm gonna
the
see
day
because there
after.
was I'm gonna say with that church thing. I think there was a citation under it. I'm gonna see if they have a video clip linked to it from the.
So it's the day after 9/11. He'd say that. Right? It's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yes. Well, there was that was part of the disinformation campaign set up by the Jesuits and CIA post 9/11 was to blame the Jews for 9/11.
Blame the Jews. Mm.
Much
I
like
was
how in the Kennedy assassination, they blamed the communists and then blamed the mob.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Right.
like deflection after deflection to avoid you seeing that it was the church that did it. Well, the church using their intelligence agencies,
Mm.
like the FBI. J. Edgar Archbishop Cardinal Cushing famously said of FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, "When Hoover speaks, it's like listen, it's like the Pope has spoken." And
Mm.
I have that sourced on my archive.org. That came from like a Catholic studies journal. People just type in Cushing on the search bar of my archive.org account. You'll see that.
Yeah. Nice.
Let's see here. There is a source given on the Wikipedia page to Bernie Ward's clerical corruption investigation. Let's see if this leads anywhere. It's taking me to a webarchive.org page.
Oh yeah, it's I'm looking at that too. Yeah. Archive.
So I'm just curious, Eric and Felipe, do you think, as I said, Ward was technically, speaking, a Franciscan or some knockoff of that, but he was only a priest for a couple of years. So, do you think that he could have got the Jerry Brown treatment? Technically speaking, Jerry Brown was never ordained. So, do you think Ward could have actually remained secretly ordained?
Could be. Yeah.
Well, I would think so. Especially if he's influential in politics, that's a sign that he's still affiliated with the church. And he was Barbara Boxer's like advisor. I would say it looks like I'm going to do more research on this guy, but just from what I've seen now, it looks like he remained ordained, especially given how close he was with all these Jesuit institutions.
Okay, and of course,
Georgetown Prep, Bellarmine Prep, Georgetown, and then the University of San Francisco.
and of course, he don't forget Saint Ignatius High School, which is the school that Jerry Brown actually went to, the high school of Jerry Brown.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so five Jesuit schools, including Jerry Brown's school.
Yeah, and of course, he also taught at a couple of schools in my neck of the woods near Santa Rosa, Cardinal Newman High School and Ursuline High School. In the 1970s, he was accused of inappropriate behavior with, I believe, young ladies. So he has a long track record of all sorts of improprieties.
As do his Jesuit mentors. Especially in
So,
California, the
yeah.
Jesuits have a long history of sexual abuse. Everywhere,
Okay, so
really.
there's a. Okay, I mentioned this radio station, KGO AM 810. Now, there's another figure there, and we talked about this when Johnny was on the show. There's a host named Ron Owens, who was born in 1945. He was born Ron Lowenstein. Uh, Owen was on KGO radio from 1975 to 2018, and he has a couple of daughters, one of whom, Laura, graduated from St. Ignatius Preparatory School, the same school that that Bernie Ward and Jerry Brown went to.
See, that didn't the mayor of San Francisco, implicated in with Jim Jones, go there also? Moscone.
Yes.
Actually, that's worth pulling up the Wikipedia list because there has seemed to be an interesting alumni crop that's come out of that school.
Yes. So.
And the people just Moscone, just if people don't remember, he famously, I think that you can find that video on YouTube. He famously said that he thanked Jim Jones for getting him elected.
So, I mean, I realize the show is almost over, but you can talk about almost any event going on in the world. You know, the Corona hoax, the Amy Sasha Cohen Barron hearings, or the Brett Kavanaugh hearings a couple years ago. And the Jesuits had their hands all over it. I mean, regarding the Corona hoax, specifically in America, Anthony Fauci, his double dip, Bob Redfield went to Georgetown University for his undergrad medical degree. The CDC was founded by a Jesuit. The governor of California is a Jesuit. The governor of New York is a Jesuit. Do you notice a pattern here?
I would say the governors of Nebraska and Louisiana are fourth-degree Knights of Columbus.
Which one?
Pete Ricketts and John Bell Edwards.
Pete.
Both of them I found are documented Knights of Columbus.
Let's see, can Google it?
Yeah, actually, my article might come up, but yeah, you should be able to find that on Google.
Yeah, I see it on the governor of Nebraska website.
Yeah, he proudly announced that. He proudly announces too. He sits on like many councils with the Archbishop there.
Sometimes they are open.
He's part of the the Ricketts family is a big financial aristocrat family. Like they set up TD Ameritrade.
Ricketts.
No, I think was the governor of Arizona. He could call a Jesuit too, Doug Ducey.
Doug Ducey, let's see. In the wars of was the head of the EU, right? We are all Jesuits.
And he was from Cameroon, brought up by Jesuits. President of Colombia, Marquez, went to Jesuit Georgetown. The King of Jordan, Abdullah II, went to Jesuit Georgetown. This is just from like on the top of my head. Like they openly have like almost all the leaders of the world educated by them.
Yeah, so Doug Ducey went to St. John's Jesuit High School. Governor of Arizona.
Actually, Johnny found the source where his Jesuit high school teacher there like told him to go to Arizona.
Go to Arizona.
And all of a sudden he becomes the governor. Like, come on, man.
So he was born in another states, right? He was
Ohio.
Ohio. So it fits the pattern of their shuffle people from other parts of where they originally born to rule.
Well, I understand there's a fairly prominent engineer in North Carolina who was actually born in Brazil.
I was not aware of. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not ruling anything here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll give you a pass.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah.
Well, Brazil, I would say, is like kind of like a model for where the Jesuits want to take America. Well, they just want to make America into a Catholic country. Like
yeah,
versus like Brazil or Ireland or Portugal.
Brazil.
Any like Poland, like.
I think Brazil mixed with China. I think that's the goal.
Yeah, or Brazil with like updated technology, like surveillance, Big Brother technology.
Right.
Because they openly say that they want to make America Catholic. Like Paul Ryan even said it. I think the recent Republican Speaker of the House at like the 2017 National Prayer Breakfast, he openly said America needs Catholicism.
Yeah,
Well,
I see.
what they,
What?
Yeah,
Eric,
I see.
I thought we excuse me, Eric, I thought we already are Catholic because if you think about it, didn't you post it? Was it you or Nick back in April posted a video that Arturo Sosa did, the Black Pope? He said, "Thanks to this current exercise, the entire world are now the entire all the citizens of the world are now Jesuits, or we've been exposed to Ignatian spirituality."
Mm.
That's essentially what he said. Yeah, he said, remember, COVID-19 is not an accident.
Uh,
And yeah, people should watch that video. I have that up on my channel. He essentially like claims ownership of COVID-19.
uh,
Says, oh, we've been working very hard to change the world, and we got to use this to further our efforts.
who say that?
The none other than the Black Pope,
Ah, okay.
Arturo Sosa.
So you say
He
we
said,
should
he
use
said,
Corona.
it's crazy. He literally said that. Remember, this is not an accident. He's like, oh, there's so many interests behind this.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, like one of them being the Jesuit Gates Foundation, or the Jesuit World Health Organization, or the Jesuit United Nations, or the Jesuit Trilateral Commission, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There are a lot of interests behind this, as the Black Pope hinted at.
Do you, Eric? Do you believe uh, the the real Black Pope is actually Francis, or because I tend to believe that because there were not long time ago there were three superior generals were alive at the same time, and uh, why do I would say if you're really the superior general, you die in office, right? So
Yeah, I would say, well, if Francis isn't the top superior general, I'd say he's definitely probably like number two in the chain of command to Arturo Sosa.
so I think Sosa is the real one.
Well, I think, well, yeah, they very much could be like they're doing like a co-generalship, because it is kind of, at least it is, we are in like unprecedented times having an open Jesuit as the white pope.
Yeah, maybe
And this, I
this.
saw recently this week, for, and for everything Francis is doing, lines up with their diabolical plans. Francis just made a plea out to the world, like through the world, or I think he advocated to the World Health Organization that he wants all countries to receive the COVID-19 vaccine,
Oh yeah, yeah. Say the
quote, regardless of wealth. It's
regardless
kind of
of
pathetic to see all these cheap YouTube channels now praising the Pope, because the Pope in his latest encyclical attacked capitalism a bit. And they're like, oh, look at the Pope is crusading for social justice. He's taken on the big banks. The Pope's taken on the big corporations. And just, wow, are you that naive? But,
yeah. He said the poor should
wow,
get the vaccine.
lots of people are
The poor should get the vaccine
falling
first.
into that trap.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have an article pulled up? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Pope Francis. I'm pretty sure he advocated the World Health Organization
Mhm.
to make the vaccines available to everyone.
Right.
But everything he does, he's extremely politically active. Well, every pope you could say is politically active. I think you can say Francis is maybe a little extra politically active,
Mhm.
and I'd say because he's an open
I
Jesuit.
think
That's probably why.
JP Chu was the pope who traveled the most. I think, and making like alliances, right? And then yeah, this pope I feel is more political, like you say. Mm, yeah.
No, JP2 definitely is up there also. And actually, no, he wrote a late encyclical where he did like a very pathetic surface level critique of capitalism, and all these shills hailed JP2 as like a moral leader. And oh, hey, look, let's listen to Pope John Paul II on how to align our economy.
Ah yes, you have
And,
the famous Time magazine, right? The Unholy Alliance with JP Chu and Reagan right on the cover. And
well, absolutely,
they
and actually, and with Pope Francis, he had a very telling Time magazine cover. I think it was a New World Pope when he came in,
a new world pope. See if I
which I
can.
think is the symbol of the Jesuit world order, coming to fruition now that an
Yeah.
open Jesuit is
Yes, the
pontiff.
new world pope. Yeah. Now you have another cover says Pope for a new war. Yeah. The new Roman Empire. I think maybe Francis is the last pope. We shall see her.
We'll have to see. Just the way things are going, unless there's like well, I think people are waking up in smaller numbers, but I don't see a big enough revolution in consciousness for the Vatican to fall within the next like 30 years. 'Cause that's what it would take if Francis is the last pope.
Hmm.
Okay,
People would probably like, because again, like I don't know why people don't or Italians don't storm the Vatican with pitchforks and just burn it to the ground. But
Yeah, I
it's
think
possible that could
well,
happen
you
within
know,
30 years, but most likely it won't. And then obviously, if it doesn't, they'll elect another pope. There'll probably be another Jesuit.
okay, excuse me, Eric and Felipe, I need to be going, but if I just couple things, Eric, we'll have to communicate offline because I'd be definitely interested in doing a stream with you. Is whatever works for you. Also, this is something that Johnny sent out last week. He said that YouTube and most other social media sites are being complete Nazis when it comes to not tolerating any sort of dissenting views. For example, it is YouTube's official policy not to post videos of people who question the official Corona hoax narrative, covert 1984, whatever you want to call it. If you call it a panicdemic, a plandemic, a scandemic, that'll get your videos pulled, and that could get your site scrubbed because they're accusing you of spreading misinformation or disinformation, and we're just saying if you question the narrative, not saying that you disagree with it or you say it's wrong. They say, how dare you impugn our veracity? We're supposed to listen to these experts, such as the World Health Organization or the CDC or Anthony Fauci or whomever.
hmm
And so you're not supposed to, but I thought that was the crux of true liberalism, true democracy, where people are supposed to are supposed to express their views and their opinions and present their facts and arguments. No, well, yes, you can have any view you like, just so long as you agree with me. And
I would say just like how it was in the Inquisition, the Roman
well,
Inquisition.
so you have all these social media sites, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, that'll basically shut you down. And they say, well, yes, we do believe in the First Amendment here in America, but that doesn't apply to us because, if you want to stand on your street corner and yell at people with a bullhorn, have at it. However, if I could just mention something very disconcerting, I know I brought this up with Johnny on the show on Monday. Is our I live in Sonoma County, California, and this actually came out as an ad in the paper a couple weeks ago, saying that according to our local health orders, people are unless they're as a general rule, people are supposed to stay at least 6 feet apart, wear a mask when they're in public, and there are no more there with limited exceptions such as at work or you're part of the same household. People who are not part of the same household cannot gather in groups of more than 12. What in the wide world of sports does that have anything to do with the corona hoax? I mean, what is the difference between 12 and 13? Well, yes, I know 13 is supposed to be bad luck. I get that. But, okay. They're basing their so-called science and medicine on quackery and superstition.
Well, did you see the Roman Catholic Dan Andrews in the province or the state of Victoria in Australia? He's getting a supercomputer to tell him all of his data that says that he needs to tyrannically lock everything down.
Computers.
That's Roman Catholic Dan Andrews. But I recommend you check it. It's comical, George, but he literally has like a supercomputer giving him his advice.
Oh, okay. So is he like the premier of that state or something, or their governor?
Yeah, the equivalent of the governor. His title is premier, but he's essentially the governor.
Okay, so all right, so please send me that information, or send me the link if you would, please. So, and of course, you had this situation. I know we talked about this a few weeks ago when Alex was on the show with us, but you have these places like Australia, like New Zealand, where people cannot travel more than 5 kilometers or 3 miles from their house, with limited exceptions, such as if you have a verifiable medical reason. If you leave your house, if you leave your apartment complex, you can, unless you're authorized to do so for work, um, you can only leave your house for an hour a day for exercise, and you can only travel a certain distance. Well, that's coming here to North America. I'm surprised they have not implemented that in places like New York or here in California. And oh,
Hmm.
Oh no, you're spot on, George. Actually, in Ontario, there was just an event that took place 2 years ago. This MPP Randy Hillier,
mhm.
he's from the Lanark Frontenac uh, riding, which isn't too far where I grew up in Rockville. But he was in the Ontario legislature, and he was asking the government why, or he was asking the premier to give answers on why the province of Ontario has plans to build quote unquote COVID quarantine camps all across the province, and these camps aren't uh, limited to just COVID-19. They cover a quote broad range of spectrum. So essentially, these are concentration camps coming to Canada, and when this MPP Randy Hillier was questioning the premier in like the Ontario, the province of Ontario's House, like they're essentially the equivalent of their Senate, their state Senate. This guy Randy Hillier had his mic cut off, like while he was talking mid sentence. Like when he said while his mic was cut off, he said like he was saying that I want the premier to reassure Canadians that like there aren't going to be concentration camps built in Ontario. And right at the word reassure, his mic got cut off. And this is like happening in like a quote unquote first world country. Yeah, that was only like 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago now. So the implications of that is like there are concentration camps coming to Canada,
Wow.
and the World Health Organization has already said that they're going to forcibly remove you from your house
Mm.
if you have COVID, or if you quote test positive for it.
This,
The U.S. has already they already have lots of camps in the U.S. Like there's Halliburton had a big $280 million contract they built to build FEMA style camps
the,
back in like 2004 when you had former Halliburton CEO Dick Cheney as vice president.
I think they'll go after your pocket too. Right? I think it was Boris Johnson says you have a fine of £10,000, right? If you don't um, you violate this COVID laws or some, you have to pay a fine. Um, That's coming definitely.
Well, the fines are tyrannical. Even I know like here in Ontario, like I think I want to say like it's at least like an $800 fine if you're like a person violating the social distancing ordinances or like the public health measures, like with the gathering size and etc. But the businesses, like your business can be fined over like $10,000,
Wow.
like minimum. So I think if you're like a small business, that's a matter of like the difference between bankruptcy and remaining in operation.
Yeah, definitely. And why
Oh,
the
that's madness. And of course Boris Johnson announced his lockdown plans right after seeing the Pope.
yeah,
Wow,
he saw that.
that must just be a
on
coincidence, right?
on September 11th
Hey,
this year.
Hawk.
Hey guys,
Yeah,
how's my audio?
Hold
My
on.
audio okay?
yeah, it's good.
Hey, okay. Yeah, you sound good, man.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So yeah, he announced a second Corona wave right after he met with the Pope. They say the second wave is coming.
wait till the citizenry, the so-called common cold goes around, and people just go, well, I don't know, lose their minds, go a little crazy with even worse social distancing, isolation, so on.
Hmm.
It's
Okay, fellas,
the so-called upcoming twin-demic, as it's been called in Canada.
Twindemic, huh?
Twin-demic.
okay,
I don't know who said it first, but I've heard it somewhere. Twin-demic.
okay. So, hello, Hawkeye.
Hey, George.
Well, I need to step out for a second, but I was watching a video a couple weeks ago from Vernon, not Coleman, Vernon. I forgot his name. He's an English fellow. Carl Vernon, and allegedly something like 40,000 people in the UK have died of the corona hoax out of a population of about 70 million people. However, some people reckon probably at least 75,000 people have died of poisoning, not getting treated for, like, not going to hospital for a heart attack. So the secondary death rate is probably twice as high as the actual death rate. And we don't even know what the actual death rate is because something we discussed over a month ago is our very own Centers for Disease Creation said that of all the people who have allegedly died in the U.S., only 6% have actually died where the corona hoax was the primary cause of death. Most of the other people had at least one other comorbidities, and usually two or three. So allegedly, something like 210,000 people died here in America. So that would pencil out to about 12,000 people. So Canada, I believe the number is about 10,000. So the numbers are the same there. That would be about 600 people there. So, and we have no idea how they're coming up with these numbers because there's all sorts of chicanery and skullduggery coming up with these figures. Also, you could say the same thing with the tests. What exactly are they testing for? And there's been a huge continuum as to how inaccurate they are. At minimum, they're 30% inaccurate, and they've been as high as 100% inaccurate. So how can you base public policy on these bogus, fraudulent tests?
Well, the Jesuitism is defined as deception. So I'd say the Jesuit order explains it. The Vatican power apparatus, which has taken hostage like what all like 190 nations of Earth.
Well, I mean, there's a few that are free, like Sweden. They never actually shut down.
Well, actually, and actually, that's a good point with Sweden. Actually, and there's been an agenda to vilify Sweden. Jesuit Fauci has taken part in that.
No,
And like the success that Sweden has is never brought up in the Western press here.
well, okay. I mean, if you take Sweden, they have a population of about 10 million people. So roughly, its population, interestingly enough, is the same as Los
Um,
Angeles County in California in the state of Michigan. Now, for what it's worth, they've had less than, okay, allegedly 6,000 deaths in 7 months. In Michigan, they've had about 7,000. LA County also 7,000. Sweden did not lock down. They did not require the muzzles. They did not require people to stay, 2 meters apart as they do over there. They did not shut down businesses. And so I just saw a video of people in Stockholm taking the metro. They're running around, they're talking, they're laughing. Nobody has a muzzle on. Now, if you go almost any other country in Europe, that's a different story. And of course, so does anybody want to respond to that before I actually had to step out?
just the Time magazine article from yesterday says that Swedish COVID-19 response is a disaster. It shouldn't be a model for the rest of the world. That's the title. um, so
Does it say? I wonder who authored that.
the author, yeah, they're have a Swedish
Well,
family name.
it sounds like a Georgetown Medical School type of.
Probably.
I don't have any visibility on that, but my first thought is I wonder if that was a model put in place intentionally as an example of those with lax rules or didn't apply the rules or didn't have leadership that forcefully applied the rules. What would happen in the long term scenario, and to essentially for fear later on, whether it's this winter or next year. Does that make sense?
Makes sense
Well,
for me.
Okay, well, here in America, one of the few states that never shut down was South Dakota. They have a population of less than a million people, 100,000. They've allegedly had less than 200 deaths. Now, granted, South Dakota is not New York, it's not California, but as I said, they never required the mask and all, staying 6 feet apart, and they never shuttered businesses. It was a couple months ago, they had the big Sturgis Biker Festival, which brought people in all over the United States, and just the United States. That used to be an international event because you did have traditionally have a fairly sizable Canadian contingent, but for obvious reasons, they couldn't go. And you also have people from as far away like Australia and UK who come up. Now, granted, it was difficult for them to ride their motorcycle all the way from Australia. I guess, but yes, they fly them over. But anyhow, but as I said, and of course, in addition, so South Dakota has basically been the American version of Sweden. It's also been vilified and demonized by the communists. Oh no, we should learn a painful lesson from South Dakota. We should definitely not emulate them.
Yeah, it's just set as examples. Yeah, guys, I think I'll have to go very soon, so
Yeah.
you probably want
Me
to.
too.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, keep on time, brother.
Yeah,
So let's go.
you
Good.
just
Hey,
arrived to.
so hey, but at the same time, I'm glad I made it for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, better than nothing. Yeah, but yeah, nice
Good
to
to
have you.
hear all your voices.
Well, I have to be going, so I'll talk to you soon. Well, take care, Hawk. Take care, Eric, and take care, Doc.
You too, George.
Yeah, okay, take care, guys. Yeah, thanks everyone. Who
Yeah.
listened.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.